It started on a quiet Thursday evening when Emily returned to her small apartment after work, tossing her bag on the couch and kicking off her shoes with a sigh of exhaustion, never realizing that in the shadows across the street, a figure had been standing perfectly still, watching her with unblinking eyes. She lived alone on the second floor, her windows facing the alley where the dim light of the old lamp flickered in and out. And though she had always felt a certain unease about that alley, tonight was the first time she caught herself glancing over her shoulder more than once as she locked the door. The apartment was her sanctuary, a place filled with books, candles, soft lighting, and a faint lavender scent she always loved. Yet tonight, something about it felt different, too silent, too heavy, as if the walls themselves were holding their breath. She made dinner quickly, a bowl of pasta, poured a glass of wine, and curled up on the couch to watch a show, but every few minutes, she thought she heard something faint. A creak from a hallway, a shuffle near the window, the faint impression of movement reflected in the darkened TV screen when it paused to buffer. At first, she told herself it was her imagination, the stress of work, the loneliness that sometimes pressed down on her like a weight. But then, when she stood to go wash her dish, she noticed something that made her chest tighten. The curtain by the balcony door was slightly parted, just enough to create a narrow slit, though she was certain she had left it fully closed. Her pulse quickened, her breath catching as she moved closer, and though she told herself it was probably the draft, when she touched the curtain it felt warm, as if someone had just brushed against it. Heart hammering, she stepped back, convincing herself she was being silly, that it was nothing. But even as she tried to return to her show, she couldn't shake the sensation of unseen eyes lingering on her, piercing through the glass. The following nights grew worse. Emily began hearing knocks on her door late at night, soft and deliberate, yet whenever she peered through the peephole, no one was there, just a dark, empty hallway stretching in silence. Her phone would buzz with anonymous calls, but when she answered, only the sound of breathing filled her ear before the line went dead. She reported it to the landlord, who shrugged it off, telling her maybe kids were playing pranks, and her friends laughed nervously when she told them, advising her to relax, to get more sleep. But Emily knew in her bones that someone was there. She began to see shadows lingering outside her building, a tall shape by the lamppost, unmoving, staring up at her window whenever she peered out. Once, she thought she saw a flash of pale skin beneath the shadow of a hoodie, lips curving into a smile before disappearing into the dark. She started double-checking the locks, sleeping with the lights on, and leaving the TV running in the background, but nothing erased that dread, that knowledge that every step she took, every breath she drew, someone out there knew. One evening, as she showered, she swore she heard the faint squeak of her bathroom door opening, the cool draft rushing in, and she screamed, pulling the curtain aside to find nothing but steam and silence, though when she wiped the mirror, 3 words were drawn in the fog. "I see you." Her hands shook as she called the police, reporting a possible break-in. But they found no signs of forced entry, no fingerprints, nothing disturbed. And though they promised to increase patrols, their doubt was clear in their eyes. They thought she was imagining it. But Emily knew better. She knew it when she woke up one night to find her phone move from a nightstand to the kitchen counter, though she had not touched it. She knew it when her favorite necklace disappeared from her jewelry box, only to reappear days later on her pillow. She knew it when she smelled the faint trace of cologne in her bedroom, a scent she didn't own. Fear became her constant companion, stealing her sleep, her appetite, her ability to feel safe anywhere. Her co-workers whispered about how pale and distracted she looked. Her boss warned her about her declining performance. And still, she couldn't tell them the truth, because how could she make them understand the terror of invisible eyes following her every move? One night, determined to prove she wasn't crazy, Emily set up her phone to record while she slept, angling it toward the bedroom door. The next morning, with trembling fingers, she played it back, her heart nearly stopping when, at 2:47 a.m., the door creaked open and a shadowy figure entered her room, standing at her bedside for several minutes, watching her sleep, before slowly bending down as if to whisper in her ear and then retreating back into the dark. Emily dropped the phone, sobbing in horror. The truth undeniable now. Someone had been in her apartment. She took the footage to the police, who promised to investigate more seriously, installing a temporary camera in the hallway. But no matter how much security was placed, the watcher seemed to slip through unseen. She stayed with a friend for a few nights, but the calls followed her there. The whispers in the dark followed, and soon her friend begged her to leave, unable to bear the fear infecting her home. Desperate, Emily considered moving, quitting her job, leaving the city, but deep down, she knew it wouldn't matter. Wherever she went, whoever it was, they would find her, because they always had. Weeks later, she returned to her apartment late one evening, the sense of dread heavier than ever, and found a note taped to her mirror in scrawled handwriting. "You can't hide." She screamed, tearing it down, her panic rising as she realized the locks had not been broken, no doors forced. The person had been inside again. That night, she sat awake with a knife clutched in her hand, jumping at every sound, every creak of the building. At 3 a.m., her phone buzzed with a video message, and with shaking hands she opened it, only to see live footage of herself, sitting on her own bed, knife in hand, recorded from somewhere inside the room. Her blood turned to ice as she spun around, searching the shadows, and in the corner by the wardrobe, she thought she saw movement, the faint glint of eyes staring back. The screen of her phone flickered, the video cut into black, and then a single text appeared. "I'm right here." From that night on, Emily was never seen again. The police found her apartment empty, her belongings scattered, her phone smashed on the floor. The footage she had shown them vanished mysteriously. No trace of the intruder ever found. Some whispered that she had lost her mind, fleeing the city in terror, while others believed the watcher had finally taken her, hiding her away where no one would ever look. But late at night, in the apartment across the street, tenants sometimes claimed to see a shadow standing at Emily's old window, motionless, watching them through glass, as if the presence that haunted her had never truly left, only shifted its gaze to a new victim. And when they close their curtains quickly, heart racing, they swear they hear a whisper in the darkness beyond. Someone is watching,